Oh, it smells better now. It's opening up. Okay. It's opening up.
You got to see the legs on it.
I'm trying. All right. Welcome back to the Speak Your Truth podcast. I'm Jelani Julius, and I'm so excited to have a super cool guest today, Jahmal Cole from My Block, My Hood, My City. I got the opportunity to work with Jahmal in an early part of my life in a different career, and I've gotten to watch his story grow and blossom, and I can't think of a more inspirational and more, like, I guess, earnest person to talk about what it takes to pursue your dreams. So everybody, say hello to Jahmal Cole.
Hey, everybody.
So there should be applause there. There's no applause.
That's all good. You building soon.
Bring one of those little machines so I can tap the button.
That's what I want when I tell jokes. People just laugh. But anyway, thanks for having me, Jelani. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited you're here, man.
Word.
So, this podcast is all about people with big ideas.
Okay.
And you've got like dozens of them, and we're gonna try to get through as many as we can in an hour.
Okay.
But we're gonna start with the one that I feel is kind of like the central ethos of your work.
Okay.
Your big idea is really a question to the world. What is something simple you can do that could have a positive impact on your block?
Yeah, and it's 15 words.
It's 15 words, that's specific.
And yeah, I know, right? Somebody told me it was like, oh, that's like 14 words. I was like, what do you mean? It was like, well, the KKK is based on 14 words. I was like, how do you know that? Like, why are you telling it's Beverly? So it's like people be saying all kinds of things. But I'm like, all right, but yeah, 15 words. What's something simple you can do that'll have a positive impact on your block? I'm learning though, as an activist and as a man, that you don't have to have an impact. I think having an effect is okay. You know what I mean? I think we're always
we're
like
start off with the big idea.
Well, I'm just saying, like, say
that again. You don't have that impact.
Yeah,
having an effect is okay.
Yeah, everybody's like, let's study the impact. Like, how many homes are you lighting up at King Drive? How long is it going to be up? How are you lowering violent crime by 30%? Or what? It's like, I'm just trying to put some lights in some homes that ain't had no lights, man. I'm just trying to have an effect. And I would say when it comes to impact, what I've seen working with students is they have more of an impact on me than I have I'm not really, like, when I'm taking kids on field trips and exposing them to things, I'm not really boosting GPAs or boosting attendance. But when they stop sagging their pants, I'm sagging, sorry, Mr. Cole, I'm like, oh, I'm having an effect. Or when they curse, oh, my bad, I cursed in front of you, Mr. Cole, I'm like, oh, I'm having an effect. And so I don't really like impact is like an educational reformy thing to me. Mm-hmm. But I think having an effect used to be okay. And I'm trying to, so what's something simple you can do that'll have a effect in your block? And that takes
you updated it. Okay.
Yeah. I updated it, but that's just the community psychology nerd talking. So yeah.
No, I think that's I didn't expect to start there in our conversation, but that's a big idea.
Yeah.
Like, stop worrying about impact and worry about effect. So many of these problems we have just take a nudge, and your work is like, that's very true to you. Like, I remember hearing stories of you going to Home Depot in the middle of a snowstorm, buying 5 shovels, and just saying, who wants to shovel with me?
Yeah, and card being on insufficient funds doing it, and so and didn't have anything, and so just man, bro, and then one person from Indiana showing up, and then appreciating that person until 3 people showed up, and then appreciating them people until 6 people showed up, but yeah, man, I didn't when I say what's something simple you can do, I think just because something's simple don't mean it's easy, but when I think of simple things, I mean it's something I can do. Like, what's something I can do? So I always want to be considered smart, and I always want to be like, oh, I want to be a politician, or I want to get credit for being smart, and I want people to say, but like, I found when I just like start somewhere, like knocking on my neighbor's door, I mean, they generally know what they want, and I'm like, oh, let me get this for you. Then I don't know, so I just start with what I can do, and when I start walking in my purpose, God allows me to see things like, man, what is this bulletproof glass window doing here, or what's this big shot spotter technology thing here, or what's this safe patches sign? And I don't know. I just start asking questions and then figuring it out. So,
why do you feel this like personal sense to do the work? Like, most people live in the modern city, and they're in their house, and they don't talk to their neighbors, and they don't really walk down their street. But you're a kind of person who's like, even though you live further away than where you were a few years ago, you still want to go to the Jewel and hang out in the parking lot and talk to people and see what's like where does that come from?
I saw the movie Malcolm X so many times growing up. I thought Denzel Washington was Malcolm X, and so I memorized all the speeches. Yeah, man, it was awesome. But I remember him the backdrops, him speaking in front of the beauty supply store or the currency exchange, and so I always I wanted to speak in the community with real people walking by that interrupt your speech and ask you a question or a baby crying. I just wanted to always teach people on a block level. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do. So. But right now, man, I shop at Jewel, you know what I mean? And I sometimes I go to the currency exchange back in the day, you know what I mean? I don't go there now, but you know, I used to. And so I'm in the seated line when I'm needing the welfare, you know, or needing to get the hardest hit program. Shout out to Obama. So I don't sometimes I needed that stuff. So that's why I interact with people in them lines. Yeah, it's not and nowadays I go back because I went to the beauty supply store the other day because I wanted to know why they had locks on the do-rags. And I was like, yo, this ain't regular. And right, it's not regular too. So how come the do-rags are $5, but you got a $6 lock on it? I was like, man, you putting a lock on people's minds. And he broke it down to me. He was like, man, Jahmal, you'd be surprised. If people will steal 30 of these a week and that adds up. He's like, a person will come in with a Gucci purse and just steal the do-rag. But, he said, I leave the soap without the locks. And I will hope they steal the soap, but they don't steal the soap. So anyway, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm rambling, but I find the hood beautiful, and I want to teach people how to not fall victim to the liquor stores in every corner or the currency exchanges or whatever. I just want to educate people to rise up, basically. So.
And those are the ideas from your last book, right? It's Not Normal. Was that the last book?
Yeah, it's called It's Not Regular, but it's
not regular.
Yeah, it's not regular, but it's basically It's Not Normal. That's what I meant, but I say regular instead of normal, basically. Yeah.
We'll use your words. It's not regular. You want to talk about that a bit though?
Yeah,
because you've written how many books?
Seven
books.
Yeah, 7. Yep, and I'm gonna have more, but yeah, it's not regular. I was sitting at all my books start off with raps, basically. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so It's Not Regular was I was on 55th, I guess you would say, Garfield and State, and there's a church called Philadelphia, and I was or the New Philadelphia, and so I said, it's the New Philadelphia, the truth that'll set you up. Cash my check at the Western Union like it's regular. Order food through the bulletproof like it's regular. German Shepherd sniffing me on the train like it's regular. Blue lights flashing on the poles like it's regular. Red X's boarded up homes, they ain't regular. Shot spotters sit on top of poles like it's regular. Dead people still casting votes like it's regular. Garrett's popcorn line long like it's regular. Welfare line long everywhere, that's every month. Ain't nobody in the line to vote though, that's regular. Same alderman for 20 years like it's regular. Cop shot him 16 times like it's regular. He ain't even getting no jail time, they ain't regular. Every day another mass shooting getting deadlier. Passing by this church, I always pray that God is helping us. And so I was like,
bars.
Yeah, so that was the genesis of It's Not Regular. But no, man.
Is the rap in the book?
It's a poem in the book. Yeah, it's a poem in the book. And but yeah, man. I was talking to my cousin in Statesville prison, and I asked him. I said, how was it in Statesville? He's like, man, that's cool, man. He's like, I'm not in here with no rapists or pedophiles. I'm just here with the hustlers. Guys. Regular stuff. I was like. They ain't regular, bro. But so I was like, I like how he said it. So I was like, I'm gonna write It's Not Regular. And then after I wrote that book, people started having, it's not normal. It's not normal. I was like, oh man, but yeah, that speech, I got kicked off of Facebook with that speech, and
really,
yeah, they kicked me off. They said I was creating national upheaval or something like that. So.
Trying to waken people up and ask the questions.
It's not regular, bro, for 15 currencies exchanges to be in your neighborhood, no banks.
No banks.
It's not regular for German Shepherds to be sniffing kids on the red line. It's not regular to have to order your food through bulletproof glass windows and get the Doritos, the nachos. They drop it in the glass jar and slide it out to you like you're an inmate. It's not regular for the cough serve to be locked up. It's not regular for there to be a paddy wagon, parked outside the high school. That's not all these things aren't regular, bro. It's not regular for there to be a police officer following the FedEx truck in the community. That's not regular, bro. Mm-hmm. I see it because I'm woke to it, but it's I'm trying to wake people up and say, yo, this ain't regular. Let's do something about it. So
when folks come out and volunteer with you, do you think that they get that? Like, I know you're not trying to have an impact, but is that an effect that you're trying to achieve?
Yeah.
'Cause you invite people from all over the city to come do work in all different parts of the city. Like, you don't got to be from Park Manor to do work at Park Manor. You don't got to be from Auburn Gresham, do work at Auburn Gresham in your program.
Yeah. So it's people want to work for companies that are socially engaged, and what I want is the blocks to get cleaned up. And so what I do is I work with about 80 block clubs on the south and west sides of Chicago, and these block clubs they are all a part of our leadership program. So if you stay with us for a year, you get a laptop, you get a stipend, you get a 501c3, a nonprofit, and we allow you to clean up your block. Basically, we help you clean up your block. And then you also get a volunteer event and you get connected to other block club captains. But what I do to get help, or if they need help with the alley being cleaned up, I might go to a corporation and say, hey, you guys want a volunteer opportunity? Let's go to, Patty over here, on the west side. And we're going to go to Patty's block. And, she's been here for 7 years and Patty's dope. She's so dope that the dope boys moved 2 blocks away. And now, she has an urban garden with a peach tree in the middle of the block. And she needs help with cleaning the alley. Let's go out with our 30 employees and go clean this alley for Patty. And then I might go to 78th and State Street in Chatham, and they might need help with painting porches. Like, there's a lot of old wooden porches. They might want to paint a couple porches or whatever they need on the blocks. I connect the will to do good with the good that needs to be done, and I call it one block at a time. That's kind of what it is. So, it's awesome, bro. It's awesome.
It's dope.
Yeah, it's awesome, bro. And it really it's really dope because the more connected people are, the safer they are, the healthier they are. Like, it's not the shot spotter technology keeping people healthy and safe. It's actually Patty looking out the window and saying, the girls are getting out of school at 3, y'all. Let's make sure we're looking out the window to make sure that they're walking. Like, that's like, people, you see something, say something. It sounds old, but it works.
I think that that's like a thing when it comes to making change that people overlook.
Yeah.
People want to buy stuff because buying stuff is easy. Buy a shot spotter, buy new weapons, buy more cops. Yeah. But the only way things change on any front is through human behavior. People have to do things differently. You want real outcomes, people got to do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the work that scares people. Yeah. They don't know how to motivate people. But I think for you, I think what draws me to your work is you ask people to do stuff, but you're not asking people to do things that you're not going to do yourself.
Nah, man.
Like I would be doing this anyway.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it, man. I want to, I love learning. I love teaching. I love wearing my hoodie. I feel like Superman. And so Chicago is the stage. Chicago is like, there's always something going on. You can always get involved. I get to learn from dope people like you. There's so many cool people, man. Like that if I just humble myself and I can and the goal is to, we saw Malcolm, we saw Martin, we saw these people, and the goal is to help people. And so we saw Barack go to the Bud Billiken parade and meet, I met so many people at the Bud Billiken parade as a kid. And I'm like, man, how do you do this? How do you do that? I don't know. It's just always something going on in Chicago. If you want to get involved in social change, this is the stage to do it in, I think.
Let's say, like, the work you're doing reminds me of the Panthers, reminds me of the Vice Lords on the West Side.
Wow. Thank you, bro.
I mean, most people don't know the Vice Lords. They think the Vice Lords are a gang, but I was blessed to do this play about a family on the West Side, and me and the playwright who grew up when this was all going on.
Oh yeah,
and he was explaining us who the Vice Lords were, and the 5-point star was related to a 5-point program they had. It was all about how they were going to shape and change the community.
Yeah, bro, they do my security now when I do stuff.
Word? Yeah. You know what's funny?
What?
Just because we're talking about these similar kind of ideals. I would learn that's who Dr. King stayed with in Chicago when he got here.
Wow.
The people know he had a house in Marquette Park, but the Vice Lords on the West Side were his security.
Yeah, man. Yeah, when we do bring 1,000 kids downtown for Downtown Day every year, the young lords are people that we don't be hiring cops. We work with them. Wow. Yeah, we work with them.
Probably safer.
Well, yeah, man. It's like they know argument de-escalation, and they the kids don't want to see all these officers. They want to be able to move around.
That's right.
Yeah, so the young lords help us out.
So what inspired you to do this? Like you start off with this question. You literally started off, like, from what I know of your story, working with young people that were in the juvenile detention center, realizing that they lacked a certain level of exposure to the communities beyond their own.
Yeah.
Like, what inspired you to, but like, this is what I want to know. Not so much what made you do the work, because you've been doing the work for a long time, that's documented. I want to know what gets you to do it. Because so many people have ideas. This show's about people who have ideas, but about doers.
Yeah.
You stopped doing other stuff and did that.
Yeah, because I want to be a part of great decisions being made. You know, I want to bend history. I want to do stuff like that. I read books like Abraham Lincoln's biography, and I'm like, man, I want to, or Robert Kennedy. I'm like, man, these people are ordinary people that achieve great things, and I love reading about their plight and their mistakes and like how regular they were. Like Abraham Lincoln, what he wrote, basically he was writing like sexual poems to the newspapers. The dude was,
I didn't know that.
Like, you know, this dude was doing that. Like, he was like he worked for the post office, for God's sake. The dude rose to be a president. You know what I mean? So I feel like, man, that's dope. I can be a regular person and do good stuff. But anyway, why did I do it, man? I did it because my dad played Malcolm X a lot, and my dad had a typewriter. So I always knew I could write a book because I always saw him with a typewriter saying, "This next book is going to get me kicked out the country, son." You know, and my dad had all these philosophy books in the crib, and he talked about Stokely Carmichael. He talked about the Panthers. You know, he talked about Harold Washington. He talked about the Woodlawn Community Service Corporation. He talked about racism. He was from Fort Worth, Texas, and so my dad really always told me I was going to be a senator growing up. Like, man, you're going to be a senator. You know what I mean? Like, so. And, you know, you don't want to be like your dad. You're like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to be a rapper. But as I started volunteering at Cook County Jail, I realized that all the lessons my dad taught me growing up were applicable. And I had, like, people have 10,000 hours playing basketball. I had 10,000 hours, like, you know, giving public speeches or being an activist. My mom was a Jehovah's Witness, so I was always running around, knocking on doors, giving out pamphlets. I was giving 2 speeches a week at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
And so all those things, like, I had the 10,000 hours or I had the muscle memory it took to make a difference already. So it just took me just accepting God's path for me and walking in my purpose. So
that puts it in perspective because, like,
yeah,
I love seeing the footage of you still to this day, like selling one book at a time.
Yeah.
Out on like Michigan Avenue or State Street.
I still do that, bro. Just to make sure I can do it. It's harder. It's harder when you got money because when you broke, you'll stay out there forever. Yeah. But now, you know, man, it's like, well, I still do it. But those no's, before I had to like stand guard at the door of my thoughts and not let the no's impact my energy. Yeah. And so I don't get as many no's now as I did before. But Jelani, I'm telling you, man, I used to I used to take the money out of my daughter's piggy bank on 79th Street, and I used to use the money to get on the red line and come downtown. And you know, obviously it'd only be like $5.50 or whatever. But if I didn't sell a book, I couldn't get back south. So I had to sell the books, you know, and I'd make $25 and then take my family to get some hot dogs or something like that. You know what I mean? So this is when I lived in Chatham, trying to build a nonprofit. My home went into foreclosure. I went through a divorce, all kinds of stuff, bro. Like, so it was.
You beat me to the questions. That the next set of questions is going to be about, like, what does it cost you to pursue this thing?
Yeah, bro. It cost. The road's so narrow you can't turn around. You know what I mean? But my dad always says the mountain was smooth, nobody could climb it. So you know it's going to be rocky. But yeah, man, it cost they say if you smile, you make the devil mad. Imagine starting a nonprofit in Chicago. The devil pissed off at me all the time, bro. I done been shot. I done lost my home. You know what I mean? I done been broke, went through a divorce. I go through tribulations. I feel like Job. You know, but also I get to work with a lot of young minds and young students and block clubs, and and they see me and they're like, man, just talk to my little son. They stopped me at the gas station. Just talk to my son. He in a gang. If you can just talk to him, it's just you know. And so I recognize that God has a calling on my life, but it's you know, you got to make sure yourself is good too.
It ain't easy.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, even hearing the things you've lost in this pursuit of this idea.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of some of them.
Yeah.
So many people who do nonprofit work are real quick to take a playbook that they know will get them where they're going.
Yeah.
I remember early on when you were starting My Black, My Hood, My City, we had some of those talks, and it's like, I don't want their metrics. I don't want their data point. I don't need the grant if they're going to tell me what I should be measuring in manner. Yeah. And that's like, I was like, you're wilding. Like, just play the game and get the money and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you found this way to do it. You're like,
well, I think you were right, man. I admired the hell out of you, bro.
Well, I definitely wasn't right.
No,
My Black, My Hood, My City wouldn't be what it is if you followed that idea.
Well, it's both and. You know, it's how can you get the grant, but how can you do what you want to do as well? Like, how can we stand in front of the currency exchange and sign people up for bank accounts, and how can we sign people up for financial literacy classes to satisfy the requirements of a grant? You know, so it's you don't have to just like.
That's an evolution. So you're doing a little bit of both.
Yeah. You know, you have to, but at the same time, man, like success for me is what I attract, not really what I pursue. I don't pursue grants. You know, I don't. Most people email me if it's about a grant. You know, and my job is to interrupt whatever they're going through to have them see it my way. So if I get an opportunity to meet with the MacArthur Foundation and they have $100,000 grant on the line for block club organizing, I'm not going to show up with a spreadsheet. I'm going to show up with a barbecue grill. I'm going to show up with a figurine from Joann's Fabric and show them what it looks like to have here's 30 people here, here's 30 little figurines, here's 30 benches, here's a little block club. By the time I'm done, they're like, yo, take the money, bro. You've interrupted it for us right now. Like we've never seen anybody have the confidence to bring a damn trash can in the now they or a snowmobile blower, and there's no one does that but me. So
I think that's a big idea that you have innate in your work though.
Yeah,
you trust yourself.
Yeah,
you follow. You have a heart for the work you do, and you follow it. You don't second guess any of the ideas you have. It's amazing. Like. The street ball campaign. Yeah. You create these campaigns, but they come straight from the source of who you are.
Yeah, man. Well, to talk about that, there are people in Chicago that are taking down basketball rims because they think, basketball courts are magnets for violence. And if you take the rim down, the neighborhood will be safer. And that just pisses me off because when I'm going to hoop on the weekends, it's like there's steering wheel locks on basketball rims or the rims are just totally down. Yeah. And so I showed up, and now I'm like, man, I'm going to do something about it. So I go to Dick's Sporting Goods, I buy 50 nets and I just start putting them back up. And then I put it on Instagram and next thing you know, the Bulls are calling me, the Park District are calling me. And I'm like, man, something must be going on. And I research it. Oh, they took these downs out of, these racist people took them down. Oh, now, okay, I get it now. I get it now. Now let me do more research. And when you're doing what you love, you start to organically build relationships. But as far as this whole trust in my ideas, that is like not
everybody's like that.
You know what, man? If I didn't read as much as I read, or as much as I do now, I wouldn't. I'd be more likely to listen to the opinion of others or follow what they want because you don't really know sometimes. You don't know if you're gonna make this 3-pointer. You're just gonna take the shot and hopefully you make it.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't miss is because I'm trying to help people. You can't miss when you're really trying to help people. If that's what you're really trying to do, you won't miss.
I think that's a big idea in itself. Like people want the other stuff around success, but they often don't want the work of what the thing they're trying to be successful at, right?
Got you.
Like I do acting now too on the side, right?
It's amazing.
And lots of people want to be famous and be celebrities. Yeah. Do you want to memorize 65 pages? Do you want to go to the classes? Do you want to audition? Like
that's dope, bro. You are a powerful speaker, so I would love to see you act, bro. Like
I'm going to show you might like right now.
I would love it.
Actually, we should talk about that.
Okay.
Like maybe we can get the Factory Theater to help bring some young people to see it.
That'd be dope, bro.
It's a story about two brothers,
okay,
two black men, and they're kind of like navigating the grief around their father killing their mom.
Okay.
But it's like it's a fishing trip story.
Wow.
But it's also kind of like magical realism. So there's some components to it that are kind of like campy.
Wow.
And a lot of dialogue. The kids like anime. If they're in the video game Apex, like it's
cool.
It's for the youth.
Wow. For real?
I mean, it's for anybody. But I would love it.
I would love to. Yeah. I mean, I think that I think by the time when youth between 3 and 13 should be going to 5 different cultural events in Chicago before they go to high school. I think that with their families, I would love to expose kids to more cultural stuff. It's a lot of kids that only go to Chatham Theater when it was up, and they never been to Broadway in Chicago. They never been to these, the Harris Theater, and I mean,
this is a storefront.
It is. That's dope.
Because that's the thing with Chicago. Like a big idea in Chicago theater was like rather than having Broadway style shows with these huge theater spaces, it was like you and me want to make a play. We put it up in a storefront, a 2-flat.
That's dope.
And it's like 35 people in the audience.
Yeah,
and like that's like a Chicago tradition. So there's a lot of these small.
That's beautiful.
50-seat theaters.
I love that, bro. I mean, I think we need a lot more artists to think like that. That's kind of how you get the Tribecas, the Sohos. That's how you get like that feel. Yeah, man. I came up selling books on the corner, bro. So I love it. I love that philosophy.
I think when you talk about that, you're doing these things from the place of like you're doing because you want to do good for people.
Yeah, for sure.
That is also kind of distinct in an era where like politics and nonprofits are kind of like trendy. Everybody wants to be in the front of a march. Everybody wants to lead a demonstration. Everybody wants to like be on the gram and you know what I mean? And like you're a person though, I think, who genuinely does this because like whether there's a camera there or not, you would be doing it.
Yeah, I like the cameras too, John. I do. I like the cameras.
I like the cameras too.
I like them. I like them. But you know what? People pop in and pop out. I mean, like, you know, you look at like George Floyd. There was a lot of corporations popping in, like, hey, we want to give you 50,000, but then you don't see him now. But it's a challenge for me. How can I keep this corporation engaged for 4 to 10 years? Don't just support Marquell as a freshman. Keep supporting my program so he can get to college, you know, and persist. Also, when it comes to the news, you know, they you know, they care about you when there's a tragedy, you know, but then they might not talk to you for a long time, you know, or you might get shot and they care about you a lot and then they don't care. So it's like I had to learn that well, I'm still learning, Jelani. I'm still learning. I'm still learning, bro. I'm still learning. But yeah, I don't necessarily seek out the media anymore. I just want to keep on hiring people. Like, charisma is not needed for what I'm doing right now. I think that's the biggest thing I'm trying to prove to other social impact leaders or activists. Like, charisma is not needed. Can you file your articles of incorporation to get your 501c3? Can you build a board of directors? Can you attract talent? Can you build training and programs for that talent to stay? Can you we're not talking about telling time. Can you be a clock builder? Do you want to be around for 100 years, or do you want to just tell time and you know, you want to have a megaphone in your hand, or do you want to have the NAACP, or do you want to be like the Urban League? You know, do you want to?
I think that's where My Block, My Hood, My City is going.
Gotta be, yeah, bro. 100 years,
like 50 years from now,
bro.
You are 90 years old. And My Block, My City is like 70 years old at that point.
We're year 10 next year, so yep, 10 years in. So yeah, bro, that's the goal. I tell my team all the time, we're gonna be around for 100 years.
Have you thought about how do you transition it? Because this is something I witnessed with Black organizations.
Yeah,
we have a hard time giving them to the next generation. I don't know what it is. Like, even I play softball with the Qs. I'm a Q.
Okay,
and it's like, even with that, it's like it's hard for them to give the team. The bros from the 80s still got the team. It's like, give it to the bros from 2010 at least, you know?
Yeah,
but it's like, how do we transition these things? How do we?
Yeah, it's hard, man, because, you know, they say a lot of our leaders die broke, you know? And so, but I think that's why I said that I'm a clock builder as opposed to a time teller. I want to make sure that that I'm thinking, like, my mission statement right now is taking care of people no matter what. 50 years from now or 20 years from now, when there's another CEO or executive director, I want them to say the same thing. My block, my hood, my city, taking care of people no matter what. So how do you do that? So I want to be a visionary company. I don't want to be a successful company, number one. I think it's a difference. And I think that
what's the difference?
Well,
between being a visionary and being successful.
I'm glad you asked. I wrote down in my notes, so I wrote down my notes. So I'm not going to gas you up. I'm going to tell you. So I'm a big reader, but I always take notes on everything that I read, and so and then I go over it. And so it says that visionary companies are both idealistic and profitable. They do both to both extremes. Also, visionary companies are role models for other companies. They're not perfect or embellished. Visionary people are highly persistent. They overcome obstacles. They,
That's real.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's awesome. I think that, so I think you say, how can I do better today than I did yesterday? I think that you keep on going towards what you value. I think visionary companies lead the market with new products rather than ask the market what they want. So instead of doing market research, they create a market and educate the community and public about it. Yeah. So those are visionary companies that I study. But also, just what's awesome about reading as much as I do is that you see that, you know, how many times that you look at Ford, like, wow, but Ford had Model A, Model B, they had a lot of things before Model T. You look at like Boeing, they went bankrupt. You look at all these companies that are just like Procter and Gamble. Sony, these people didn't have a vision statement or mission statement when they started. There was guys that got together and said, how can we do, we don't even know what we're going to do. We just know we're going to build a business, you know? And so I love reading about visionary companies and how they're able to pivot in times of, when the pandemic happened.
All right, we're going to go there now.
Okay, cool.
We're going to go there now. Cause you've changed the language.
Okay.
It went from nonprofit to company.
Yeah.
And this is like, if I ever got to do a TED Talk, my old life work, the things I witnessed,
you will.
The one thing I would love to talk about is nonprofits and the way society uses them, and how I want nonprofit leaders to think about how do they turn it into a business.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've avoided this amazingly well, but I think you've also felt this a little bit too, it sounds like, from some of the things you posted. you start a nonprofit, you grassroots, you bootstrap it, everything else is just all like what you got to make it work, right? And you do good work from the level you can do it in.
Yeah.
And then some foundations, some people see that and they go, oh, we want to invest it. We're gonna give you 200 grand or 300 grand, and you're gonna get to grow and scale. And you're gonna hire staff, and then, but because it was all volunteer based originally, there's no business model to generate 200 grand, even though you got it this one time. So you see nonprofits who get them for like 2 or 3 years, and then the foundation says, well, we're changing our funding priorities. We're going in a new direction. We were funding community advocacy, but now we're gonna be funding public health. And then you get cut. And then the nonprofit, it shrinks. And at some point, I feel like nonprofits should be thinking about either, was this a temporary thing we sunset, we only did it for a time period, or what's the value we're bringing to society that could be monetized so that we can be more sustainable and not be like beholden to the whims of foundations of philanthropy. Where you see nonprofits start changing who they are every 3 years. We used to be doing public transit. Now we're doing public health. Next year we're gonna be doing education because we're just chasing funding versus like having a reason.
I think that, so a few things. I think, and I'll start from the last thing you said. So I think nonprofits shouldn't be mission locked. I think that they should pivot like Jordan in the finals. I think that like, you need to, if you're still doing what you were doing last year, then that's not what we're doing. Like we are taking care of people no matter what. If that means that Venezuelans are coming to Chicago and we got to help them out, that's the challenge in front of me. If there's a snowstorm, if there's Laquan McDonald, if there's George Floyd, that's what we're up to right now. We let the world tell us what to do as opposed to.
You don't change your why, but you change what and how.
Okay. Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, bro.
Right. Your why is we help people no matter what. What we're doing right now might be different today.
Is that who want to help out? Exactly. Like that's what we. So I hire people and I make sure that they can pivot. And I call them at 2 a.m. This is what we doing now. There's
that's what we doing now.
Let's go. We're gonna show up. And showing up is the best part. Is showing up. And so and as far as the funding, man, like if we raised $3,000, it could be from 300 people. Like at my block, we have 8,000 individual donors from all over the country, and these people are monthly donors that donate a small amount, maybe $25 a month. And so that's how we're able to not have a battery in our back. By now we are supported by like Google, Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I mean, all you name them, all the fund. We get support from that, but we don't have like a $300,000, a $200,000 grant. Our biggest grant might be $100,000 from a Google, but again, with those 8,000 individual donors, I read a book called Tribes that shows you if you get to.
I love that book.
Yeah, man. If you get to 1,000 people that give you $50 a year, you should never have to work again. It's kind of like that. We have 8,000 donors. And so, yeah, man. And also, I'm able to, now that I have really smart people that work for an organization, we can write grants. You can pay for a software that will identify grants, and then you could just do the numbers game. So, but
you also have a commerce side because you still sell hoodies.
Yeah, I do. But it's the hoodies aren't profitable.
They're not?
We'll let my CFO tell it. He says it's not profitable, but I always laugh at him because I give away 1,000 a year. So I mean, our students all get 3 hoodies, 2 hoodies a piece. All of our block club captains get hoodies a piece and shirts. We give out T-shirts. But look, it's not even. If somebody did a brand evaluation, I bet you it'd be like $25 million. If they said, how much is my block, my hood, my city worth? It's because we're able to attract. This is like a walking billboard when I wear it. When people are wearing it overseas. And so what we did with the mission-based apparel is like now all nonprofits are wearing mission-based apparel. I feel like I started that. That's how I feel.
I think, yes.
So that's how I feel.
I will give you.
And the dude in LA too, the Homeboy Industries, I think he did a good job too.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, like I was gonna say, like for in Chicago in particular, I know for a fact, like mission-driven clothing.
But that was because, man, I'm interested in apparel and hoodies. You know what I mean? It was just like, and the brand Oprah called me and told me that. By the way, Oprah, she gave us like a couple $100,000. Like she gave us I think she gave us whatever she gave us. I was on the phone with her and her assistant. Her assistant was like, "Okay, we're about to write a check for $250." She's like, "Don't embarrass me. Make it $350." And she was like, "Jahmal, I was just talking to Will Smith in the backyard." I was like, "Oh, wow." And I was like, "Wow." And she's like, "Jahmal, but how did you get your brand so right? How did you get the name right?" And I told her, I was in the Cook County Jail volunteering, and the kids were like, "My block is this, and my hood was that." And I was like, "Why don't you ever say my city?" She's like, "Jahmal, you're brilliant." She's like, "You hear brands?" I was like, "Yeah, I hear them in the Lim's Barbecue. You know, I hear them more so that
You are brilliant, but you also have a master's degree in like something related to marketing, correct?
internet marketing. Yeah, yep.
So
yeah, for sure.
you love learning for real.
Yeah, for real, man. I'm a nerd. I ain't gonna lie. But I also hire people that are walking in their path. Like if you're good at graphics, I want to work. I'm not good at videography. I'm not good at audio engineering. I'm not good at graphics. So I find people that love that, and we build a clock together.
Yeah,
we build Noah's Ark together, and that's kind of how. If everybody loves what they do and everybody's a part of it, then that means you're doing more than people expect, and that's the best investment.
Like you make it sound so simple, but these are ideas that I think companies struggle with. Like how to like whenever you hear somebody saying, well, how do we motivate? How do we get somebody to do something?
Yeah.
A lot of the Speak Your Truth work that we do is about trying to deprogram people from this idea that you can make anybody do anything.
Yeah. No,
Everybody has agency.
yeah.
Maybe you should just start with what you want to do and see who want to do that with you. And you live that.
Yeah.
Like you just do what you want to do. And whoever wants to do that too, they're invited to bring their gifts. They're invited to bring their talents.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm learning, man. I'm learning because...
But it's not manipulative, though.
No. I mean, I got people, like I said, everybody I feel like I work with is smarter than me. I feel like everybody I learn something from. The directors on my team are super bright. Even people that aren't directors. But I recognize that that their power is in their recommendations, and ultimately is my decisions. You know, it's my decision. So but I do want their recommendations. I want their feedback. That's just how I look at it. So, yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Like, I want the feedback.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, as the leader, I got to do what I think is right.
Yeah.
And you may think that these hoodies are a lost leader, but you know what? I'm going to keep printing them.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to keep printing them.
Because I know that I'm winning. I know that.
Bro, you get everybody. My dad was at your fundraiser recently. I was on a show, so I couldn't come. But he's like, Jahmal got Omega Sci-Fi, My Block, My hoodies. I was like, man.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. That's dope. I can't even wear them in the airport because I don't even know anything about a fraternity or a sorority.
Yeah,
but
don't.
I feel like, are you a Kappa? I was like, what? I don't know nothing. I'm a hooper, man. I'm a basketball player. Yes.
But you find ways to tap into the hearts of people. You have a gift for tapping into what people value.
I try not to think about it because I don't want to know. I just want to continue to do what I'm doing obliviously. That way I can just...
So I think that's why it works, though. Compared to other people who try to replicate what you do it from a place of actual love and care for community.
Yeah, bro.
You value people, and so you're tapping into people.
I love it, bro.
And I think that's why people receive it, because it don't feel... Like I've had people call me like, I want to donate to them because they just want to know they could trust who they're giving the money to.
Yeah.
And that it actually will lead to community work.
I love that, bro. I need to be around you more, man. You make me feel good. But I got a call from a politician recently, and they was like, well, not the actual politician, but they were like, hey, we want to go on your community walks with you because we want to build trust. We want people
they want to capitalize on your trust.
I was like, man, that's funny, man, because oh, you should have saw me today. I was on the west side at a Black Club cleanup. I thought it was so funny that I was littering. And so everybody's picking up stuff, but I was throwing my Dunkin' Donuts coffee to the ground. And it was so funny, man. But
he's like, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I'm human too.
No, but I was joking. I don't ever litter. I'm just saying, but when our students in our program, they'll throw a whole church's chicken box to the ground like it's a piece of gum.
Yeah.
And I say, why don't you pick it up? They was like, well, the wind's gonna blow it down the street, Jahmal. I'm like, I like how your mind works with the wind thing. You know, you see how the wind works, but you got to pick that trash up. But I'm saying that to say, I love traveling, bro. And you could travel the world without leaving Chicago. I love people. If I could go to Nigeria, I'd go. If I could go to Mexico, I'd go. But I can go to Pilsen, man. I can go to, Uptown. I'm the type of person that I pull up. And God normally, when I'm walking on my path, introduces me to somebody. I met a guy in Logan Square the other day named Thaddeus, and he walked me around the community and talked about, he was a Michelin star chef, and now he's running a nonprofit in Logan Square. I'm going to 100 blocks in 100 days and talking to people, basically. I'm learning more.
That's the campaign you're on right now.
100 blocks in 100 days, yep.
How many blocks have you been to so far?
13.
13. Yeah. Oh, you got some work to do.
Yeah, so I mean.
Are you going to do it in the wintertime too?
Oh, yeah, so it's all leading up to, I'll be done by February, and it's going to lead into a town hall, the State of the Hoods town hall. And so, yeah,
you should call, well.
It's with WTT. I mean, it's going to be.
That's what I was asking. So like earlier in my career when I worked at MCFA, I did that.
Oh, word?
Yeah, I created this campaign called the Dear Mayor campaign because it was mad funny. It was like the first time when Mayor Daley stepped down, he wasn't going to run again.
Okay.
And it hit me that the high school students I was working with, they're all like 18. he had been the mayor since they've been born for most of them.
Wow, that's dope.
So there's a new mayor.
Yeah.
And so you had
Wow.
you had Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail, and you had a letter to my president from Joel Ortiz. So I combined together.
What?
And then the kids did video letters to these mayors.
That's dope.
All the candidates, to Rahm, to Gary Chico, to Miguel de Valle, about what they needed. And it kind of escalated where we got to do, we had a youth congress at DePaul.
Okay.
500 kids from Chicago showed up.
Wow.
And they voted, they prioritized a set of youth issues, and they did root cause analysis and came up with policy recommendations. And then WTTW picked it up. And so Brandy's,
Love her.
and
That's what I
back in the
want.
day, it was Phil Ponce.
Yeah.
Is he still there?
I don't know, but his son was. I don't know if he's
Okay.
Phil's not there no more.
But he, they organized a youth forum
Dope.
where 500 kids from Chicago high schools got to sit down with the 3 mayoral candidates and ask questions directly to them live in the audience.
Oh wow, I love
So
that.
when you say this, I'm like, I feel the energy of that. Like, yes.
Oh, I gotta build with you because that's kind of what I want. The authentic voice. I want them to get cussed out. I want them to actually have to hear from the people on the block, and but not just mayoral candidates. I definitely think the crime lab needs to be there. Superintendent Snelling. I think that
everybody who's over there, have you heard the term like poverty pimping? Like, I'm a social worker at heart.
Okay.
Or originally my profession.
Okay.
And that's a thing that they talk about. It's like people who like, they make millions of dollars studying, creating interventions for the hood.
Yeah, I heard it before.
You know what I mean? And I think those people should be in the room to hear from people like,
wow, that'd be dope, man.
Stop studying us.
Yeah. I hate surveys, man. I can't survey my students. I feel like like I told you, I know what I'm doing works. And if you don't believe me, then I'm going to go on to the next person that's going to support us because I don't want to spend time talking about impact.
Dude, you're full of big ideas. That's a big idea too.
Yeah,
if you're talking to somebody and they're not listening to you, stop talking to them.
Bro, man, it's too many other people.
It's like, why convince them? Just like move on.
Because I don't talk to people that I'm not supposed to talk to. I have talked to people that haven't given me a grant before, and it's been, I know the first paragraph I read now that says, I got turned down for a grant. Well, not me, but my team got turned down for a grant today or this morning. I saw it. I was like, oh, okay. I just moved on to the next one, bro. Yeah.
I think you want so bad for everybody to give you validation, but if you're not, you're internally valued. If you're following your values, like you're very much so a values-driven person. Man, so you can make hard choices in the face of uncertainty because you're doing it from a place of like, I value helping people. I value uplifting the community I'm from. Mm-hmm. I value educating people in my community to not become so normalized to the conditions we live in because it's not our fault. And because you have that, you can make tough choices and face tough things.
I wish I could say it like you.
Oh, yeah, I just gave it to you. It's yours.
I'm definitely going to steal it. I'm like, write it down.
So, I mean, we worked together almost like 10 or 12 years ago at this point.
Wow.
But just like watching your work, it's just like you, like when we were at Inks together, you were that guy.
Yeah.
And like, I could watch you kind of like rub up against an organization that was like not values driven in the same way that you were, right? Didn't share your same concern.
I was just trying to learn from all y'all, man. Like Sophie next to me, I learned so much from her. She used to edit my speeches, man, and help me out. Mm-hmm. And I used to learn from you. Like I was so enamored by you and how you commanded a room and how you got, all type of people to trust you. And also, man, you actually you're not lazy. Like you show up and like with papers and like studies, like you were ready to lead. Like you were like, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it. And I didn't know even what a charter school was. Like I had no, when they hired me, I didn't even know what a charter school was.
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
Yeah,
they Jill had to teach me what a charter school was. Yeah, to me it was the craziest thing in the world that people were mad about schools. Yeah, I was like, who would be mad about sending a kid to a school? Right. Like, but then I started meeting Reverend Dukes, and I started understanding the issues. And Andrew Broy, and I was like, man, and I was gonna run for school board this year, and Andrew and them, they wanted to support me, but I decided not to because I was like, man, I'm not, it's creepy politics, bro. It's just sometimes it's creepy.
So we're gonna get there for a second. I want to talk about your political experience, but like to this point about that though, I think we both learn from each other. Yeah. Because you may have learned the things you said you learned from me, and you apply them as you built your organization. Yeah. And what I learned from you was to follow my heart.
Love that.
Because I was not. I did all that work in education, and I was successful from what people could see. Yeah. I got awards. I got fellowships. I had national connections, but I wasn't happy. And I've always been an artist, and it wasn't until like I started like living my life as an artist, and finding work that let me live creatively, Even now, my primary job is marketing.
Yeah.
But like, which is funny because like, how do you go from social work and community organizing to marketing? But they're the same.
Yeah. What's happy mean to you?
I think what makes me, it's so funny. I'm reading a book about this now about pleasure, and I'm starting to learn that pleasure is probably more what I'm looking for than happiness.
Okay.
Pleasure is like the tie that binds humans, the way we enjoy things.
Okay.
And so for me, it's when I get to give my full gift and it's valued.
Okay.
Right.
Got you. All right. That makes sense.
So it's like when I go to work, I get to live out my values.
Got you.
And people are like, and that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Why we hired you. We want you to be here for this. You know,
my work makes me happy, I would say.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm trying to understand the difference between happiness and fun, but I'm starting to.
I'm gonna send you the book because that's actually the dichotomy. It's like most people pursue happiness and end up picking fun, but pleasure is more of an internal state of well-being.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
Like when we think about something's pleasurable, it's you can sustain pleasure. You could have a good day.
Got you.
Right.
Got you.
But happiness is an external thing that happens where maybe something makes you happy or pursuing fun.
Yeah.
You know,
I've just said that I don't give a damn how I feel. I'm going to get up and run these 3 miles. Or I don't care what's going to happen. Like I don't care.
You be on that. You be on that. Block fit,
bro. Word. I'm like, I don't care what's going on. Like I'm like I can't turn off being who I am. I can't turn off being a good person. I can't. But I do want to be. I do want to be happy. But I just feel like it's a fleeting feeling sometimes. Like, you know what I mean?
Happiness is temporary.
Yeah.
You get it for a moment and then it goes away.
Yeah. So, but when I work at My Block, My City and do this work, that is something that I can die good in. Like, it's
deeply pleasurable.
Yes.
You enjoy being there.
Yeah, for sure.
See, I think like that's part of this podcast is inspiring people to do the things that they want to do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who live a life where they're like, oh, I would love to paint, or I'd love to start a nonprofit, or I'd love to fly a plane. But they just won't take the first step because it seems so far away from them.
Yeah.
But the people who take a first step, you learn.
Yeah.
You keep going.
Yeah.
It grows, and it's like a snowball. You know. Man,
it's amazing, bro. It's amazing. Like people always ask me, how'd you start it? Would you, like I'm in it. You know what I mean? So I'm riding into the wheels.
I was there when you started, I was maybe a year or two after you started.
Yeah, man. It wouldn't be what it was without me learning from you, bro. I mean, I took a little bit from everybody that I needed. I did, bro. Alderman Sawyer. If it wasn't for him, I don't even know if I would even golly, just him allowing me to come into his office and him actually treating me like a human being. He could have kicked me out, but I was like, man, I want to help you with your marketing. He's like, sit down. It was him and Brian Sleet. He treated me like I was smart. I was like, I left. I'm about to be the mayor when I left, bro. I was like, this is amazing, bro. That dude encouraged me so much that he didn't have to. I'm gonna tell him one day when I see him how much he encouraged me. But I didn't know what a block club was. He took me to all these. Well, he used to come to the Greater Chatham Alliance block club, and I said, what are you about to do today? He's about to go to 6 more block club meetings. Okay. And I watch how he get up there and do presentations. I steal lines from him. I've stole so many lines from him. I know at this point, I stole all my lines. I stole everything.
I'm going to tell him that. I'm going to tell him that. Jahmal said he was using your speeches to get his stuff off.
Bro, he used to say things like about Happy's Liquor. He would say, I don't want to say nobody selling drugs, but I don't know who waiting for the bus, who not waiting for the bus. I was like, I'm taking that. I was like, I use so many of his lines.
Alderman Sawyer he lived in that community, he grew up in that community.
Yeah.
He had a tie to that community. He loved that community. And speaking of Alderman Sawyer, and just speaking of politics, I want to talk to you a little bit about your experience running for office.
Yeah.
If it's not too sensitive or touchy. Because I think there's something that I hope people get from this podcast.
Yeah.
Is that your gifts and talents are good everywhere, but they need to be used in the best. They won't be as powerful without the right context.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because earlier you talked about some politician wanting to come and capitalize on your trust.
Yeah.
But a part of me wanted to be you tell them I tried to run for Congress and this did not lead to 400,000 votes.
Yeah, man. It didn't. And it was so what do you want to know? Ask me. What do you want to know about it?
What did you learn from that experience? Will you run again?
Yeah, so what I learned, yes, I'm going to run again.
For the same seat?
No. I don't know what I'm going to run. I'm leaving it open. I didn't know I was going to run for that seat. I went to Beverly one day for a march, and the cops turned their sirens on when I started speaking. And by the end of the march, I was like, I'm running for Congress because the community asked me to. So I never knew
know that.
Yeah, the community asked me to run for the first congressional seat. It wasn't me saying, hey, let me plot what I'm going to do. So I just stepped up for the community and said, okay, I'll do it. And so and I got the most votes that in the district in Beverly, so I live there now. But yeah, so yes, I'm going to run for an office again because I want to be a part of great decisions being made for Chicago. But what did I learn? I learned that it's a beautiful first district from Hyde Park to Frankfort. I ride my bike 4 hours to Frankfort for Hyde Park. I went to a lot of PTO meetings, school board meetings. I met a lot of people. Didn't see any of these candidates, by the way. The 13, 14 months, I didn't see none of these candidates.
I want to be clear about this.
Like,
you ran for Congress the way most people run for alderman.
Yeah, bro.
You literally went to every neighborhood in the district, which is a huge amount of space.
Yeah. And it was fun. That's what I like doing. I like eating. I like learning. I like seeing. I like writing down. I like blogging. I like experiencing things. And I didn't see any of these people out doing this stuff. But
no, they didn't.
I was running against Congressman Rush, and I announced early, like I was the first.
You were the first person.
Yeah, I was, and I remember that Congressman Rush made me cry. I remember breaking down in tears because he didn't like that I was running against him. You know what I mean? I didn't expect that. My dad said he hit me in the right spot, but I didn't expect some people came to me from a political action committee and told me that Congressman Rush called me a loser. And I broke out in tears because, to hear like I want to cry now thinking about it, like to hear a black man call me a loser. And I was like, man, like that was, I didn't get into this to lose my humanity. And, I met Congressman Rush at the Bud Billiken parade. And so I was going to walk up to him and ask him, man, like, it's an honor,
only
man.
Trying to help.
Yeah, like it's an honor, bro. What's up, man? And he didn't want to shake my hand. He was like, yeah, I know who you are, and I'm coming for you, and I'm this, that, and this on camera, him doing that. But anyways, I remember like after that event, after the Bud Billiken, after I was called a loser. By the way, I'd never heard him call me a loser. It came through some other people, which hurt worse. Yeah. But I saw him at the Push Coalition, and it was really snowy outside, and it was a lot of snow. And Congressman Rush is, is an elder, and he was walking down the street, and it was snowing, and it was and I was like, he was trying to get to his car, and I was like, man, I'm glad. So I walked up to him, I helped him get to the car, I opened the door. He got his coat lapel stuck in the door, and I opened it back up, I put it in. He's like, thank you, Jahmal. And I remember thinking, man, Congressman Rush knows my name. Like I was like, this. So I felt like, dude, a legend. You know what I mean? So he is a legend, and so I didn't. So anyways, I felt like, what did I learn? I learned that I need to believe in myself more. I learned that I am a sucker for people that have gone to big universities, and I feel like they're smarter than me. And I feel like I did everything they asked me to do when it came to memorizing things and topics that they wanted me to study and what they thought I should be sharp in. And I felt like I was losing myself in.
You didn't run as you.
No, not at all. I didn't try. I didn't ride a horse down the first district. Like I didn't think outside the box. That
might be the first time in a long time that you didn't trust yourself.
Nope, because I was.
Wow.
I didn't. I trusted advisors.
That's the first time you took an L in like 10 years.
Bro, it was a big one. It was a big one. But I remember when I was losing the day of, my dad was still out putting yard signs in. I was like, Dad, you can stop putting yard signs and I'm not gonna win. He's like, no, son, it's gonna be a miss. It's gonna be a recount. Then I did this thing. I was like, Pops, man, I'm not gonna win. But Congressman Jackson, he came into the race probably 2-3 months before the election, and he ended up, taking it with a landslide. There was other viable candidates too, like, Karen Norrington Reeves was wow. Like if I'd have lost to her, I'd be like, well, that's amazing. But I was like, she's amazing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the Congressman Jackson, I didn't even know he was going to be in the race. You know what I mean? So he is way smarter than me too. But
I remember that. I won't say he's way smarter than you. He has political people behind him, and politics is a certain kind of sport. But I just remember that speech you gave about like they started calling him the front runner when he just got there. He's like, how is he the front runner? And I started the race like a year and a half before him.
He just hopped out of Uber. Exactly. He hopped out. It's like running a marathon in a mile 23. Somebody hops out of the Uber and they say that's the front runner. I was like, that's what he did.
That is what he did.
And I'm not going to let him live it down. And he emailed me last night, to be honest with you, and asked me, could he go on a block walk with me? That's crazy. His campaign wants to go on a block walk with me. And he wasn't the person that was trying to establish trust, by the way. That was a different person. But anyway, I was honored to even talk to him. And he's like, man, let me introduce you to my mom. I was like, I'm like, this is legendary Chicago stuff. So I'm talking to Jesse Jackson, come on, bro. Like, you know, I'm Jahmal Cole. I'm sitting with Bobby Rush, bro. So people kept on saying, man, it's gonna be like, you know, Mayor Life. It was like, Jahmal, it's just not your time right now. You know, you're gonna just keep on doing what you know. It's gonna be your time. It hurt me to see people that were my age being like, why so soon? Or, you know, it bothered me so much for people to be like, why are you doing it now? Like,
was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
Like, you didn't win, but was the journey and the activity you did worth it?
Yeah, it was. It was the learning experience of a lifetime. It was every day I woke up optimistic. Every day I woke up, I got to learn about a new topic. I got to be, you know, I got to go to U Chicago, basically. You know what I mean? It was pretty
Both
awesome.
Figuratively and literally.
Exactly. It was awesome. So yeah, it was awesome, man. I didn't like that, the way that, I didn't like how I was treated by the media as a political figure. When you're shoveling snow for people and giving out food at food pantries is a different story. But when you're running for Congress, they, you know,
they pick at you.
Oh, it was tough. And so, I struggled at that. I'll get better. It was a learning experience for me. They said I called somebody old. The magazine was like, Jahmal Cole calls people old in Chicago. What? Like, a whole program for 10 years I've been working with elders in Chicago. But what I said was like, if I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh man, these old people be talking about something. But then they would put, oh, that's what you took from me? Oh, I was so mad, bro. So I had to learn that you can't be talking to the media and just like you have to just be measured in what you say.
I mean, they have an interest in selling news.
Yeah.
I think like watching you do that work, because I come from that political world.
Yeah.
And I was really worried about what a person with your heart would experience.
Yeah.
It's like, as people have heard the conversation, this is authentic. It's genuine to you.
Yeah.
Like the way Questlove talks about being a drummer and being in music and being able to meet Prince and meet Jay-Z, and he's like, I meet my idols.
Yeah.
Is that's how you are about this work. You're like, you uplift and value community organizers, change makers.
Yeah.
And so you're literally like, Bobby Rush is talking, you know, said something that hurt my feelings, but it's Bobby Rush.
Yeah, exactly.
And it means something to you. It's not fake. It means something to you.
I broke out in tears when a room full of white people called me a loser. It was one of the most hurtful things.
It was like when the other J. Cole was like, I made Nas.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
That's how you felt?
I did, man. I don't really, you know, I felt like we should have had a conversation, you know, and I felt like I'm looking forward to having a conversation with him, and it's all good, man. But he my dad was right. It's politics, you know. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to be dirty like that, and then people.
Can I give you a thing?
What's up?
I think you were ready. I think that you didn't trust yourself. You got like, I think I've in my career I've worked with a lot of people who are first time people running, or they run and they're not an incumbent, and when you're not the incumbent and you're not the party's person, you really have to run as yourself. So win or lose, you feel like you did what you want to do.
Yeah.
But you try to like let people tell you how to do it.
Yeah, bro, that's what happened.
And you couldn't feel satisfied at that night, being like, I didn't do the things that I knew to do. And I think if you had done things you needed to do, I don't know if you would have won. But you would have like.
Yeah, I mean,
you'd be satisfied.
Why are we talking about the ozone when I'm pumping gas on 79th and State and I can't even look over my shoulder and pump gas? Like, why? What are we talking about here? Like, I was talking about, you know, things in Jerusalem. I'm like,
I hope you run for Congress again, because I feel like there's something about this idea of like, it's time we take the hood federal.
No, that's kind of, I like how you said it, bro. You got some great bars.
Well, this is something we share. We share this gift of like
that's bars. I wanted to create a partner in government for nonprofits. Like, we need federal dollars, but yeah, man, I was always thinking bigger than alderman. Like, you know, Rahm Emanuel told me that don't ever run for alderman. I said, why? He's like, you already done more than them people, man. You should definitely run for something higher. Like, run for something higher. And so, yeah, I always thought about that.
I think the idea of taking the local interests up like that. You're the person who could do that.
Bro, I would be in D.C. I'd be there at 4 a.m. There's nobody to be working harder than me. Like, there's nobody be working harder than me. And I was like, man, like, but you know, I do think Congressman Jackson, like, anyway, you should never talk about a sitting politician. So
we're not saying that, but I'm just like, I think like your value, like, we need more values-driven people in government and civics. People who are there because they actually want to do, not because they were like bought in by power. I remember like when I was working at MICFA, we got an opportunity to go to D.C. And we brought the young people to a meeting with a lobbying firm to learn about what lobbying was, because it's such a big activity on the Hill, right? And this lobbyist just gave a really eloquent metaphor of like, you know, the Capitol is like a train station, and the bills are like cargo, and my job is to know which are like the trains. Each train has cargo space, and my job is to know which trains are going to leave the station and have space for cargo. And he just told this really elegant metaphor.
That's dope.
And then he kind of like bragged a little bit about how like he'd worked with like causes in his local where he's from to help like get some of their cargo on the train.
Yeah.
And this kid was like, well, "This is what we need in Chicago. Who's putting our cargo on the train?
Yeah.
Y'all work for us." And he was like,
wow.
It's like the kid got really emotional. Like, this is why nothing changes.
Yeah.
Because who's here with our interests? And I was like,
I've got another metaphor for you. So you probably heard it's called the babies in the river, right? And so
I know this one is very.
All right. So
still say it.
All right. So there's two guys walking by a river, let's say in Colorado, and the guy was walking down the river, blah, 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 sees a baby in the river. What the hell's a baby? He runs and jumps in the river, grabs the baby, brings it to shore. Once he gets the baby to shore, he looks back, it's another baby, runs back, jumps in the river. Oh man, there's another baby, brings it back to shore. This happens 2 or 3 times. He sees his friend and says, "Hey man, come on, help me get these babies out the river." His friend says, "No man, I'm not gonna help you get babies out the river. I'm going upstream to see who's throwing these babies in the river." And so as it pertains to nonprofits in Chicago, there's a lot of nonprofits trying to tackle the immediate needs or get the babies out the river, right? At My Block, My Hood, My City, what we're doing is we are trying to grab the babies out the river and ask the babies what they need, or trying to keep people from being in the river in the first place by doing downtown day, by exposing kids, by working on the social determinants of health. We're keeping people out of jail. We're keeping them out of the prison industrial complex. We're keeping people out of the river.
That's what makes your work hard to like quantify, because your work is really changing hearts and minds.
Yeah.
Right? You're exposing, like exposure is the key.
Yeah, I wrote that.
You wrote that. That's your book. Exposure is the key. You believe that we can change hearts and minds, and when we change hearts and minds, behaviors will follow. Man, but there's a long tail on that.
I can't wait to watch this, bro. I can't wait to watch. I'm writing down everything you said. Well, you are dropping bars, but that's
You're dropping bars. We just riffing.
Yeah, but I just do it.
We're already an hour. Can we go? Do we have time? Okay. I gotta stop this. Okay. The first few guests, I was so good about an hour. Okay. The guests keep coming with more and more experience, and it's like it's all good, we need like the Joe Rogan. Like we need 3-4 hours.
I gotta go to the airport at midnight anyway, so it's all good.
Where are you going?
I'm picking up my wife's relatives. They're coming to town. My wife's getting some award this weekend, so I'm gonna pick up her relatives.
You married an educated woman. She's a professor, right?
Yeah, she is. Yep, she is definitely a professor and definitely educated, real smart, and yeah, she's it's awesome. So
we're gonna do the Speak Your Truth Relationship podcast another time.
Okay. Pick up my people else.
Everybody's telling me that when you do podcast, you should talk about these because it was popular. I said, no. Yeah. I get what's popular. I don't care what's popular. I want to talk about people who are taking their ideas out of their head and putting them in the world, because I want to inspire people. We need more people doing that. Yeah. We need more people following their heart, taking the time to do the things that they actually believe in.
Yeah, man. I grew up listening to Nas, Jay-Z, and all the people that put out an album a year. So it's like, that to me is like, that's courage, being brave enough to be creative. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I feel like when I go to, when I was selling books downtown, I ended up winning the National Entrepreneur Competition by Toyota. They gave me a brand new car, and they flew me out to LA to connected me to a mentor who was younger than me, and his name was Levi Maestro, and he had his own clothing line. And when I met him, he had a clothing rack in one room, he had an assistant, and he had another office. And I was like, "Man, you got an assistant? You got a BMW?" He's like, "Man, I'm broke. I'm living paycheck to paycheck." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, man. What are you gonna do with your winnings, Jahmal?" I was like, "I don't know." He was like, "Let me show you how we take product shots." I thought Nike and the LA Clippers took product shots by no, man, they went to Lowe's or Home Depot. They bought sandpaper or whatever kind of slate, and they put the products on top of that with a ladder. I was like, what? It blew my mind. And I was like, I'm going to take this learning back to Chicago. Anybody can do it, bro. It's not like you just have to do more than people expect. And you just have to jump in. Ain't no plan B. It's like, once you start talking that, it's like, if you are all in, you have no other way to, you have to be all in. So I just left the trading firm. I left my job and I just jumped all in. Then my home went into foreclosure. Then I had to work a job again. That's how I met you at Inks. And I kept on doing it, bro. Yeah.
Is there any, from everything you've been through, My Block, My Hood, My City over 10 years has evolved and led dozens of campaigns. It's gone from just taking kids out of their neighborhood and having them explore other neighborhoods to volunteer opportunities to beautify blocks. You did the the block club sign redesign where it was like, why do we have the block clubs that all say no?
Yeah.
What if the block clubs were open to like the people that live there?
Yeah, bro.
Very poignant.
Thank you.
And when I drive the block and I see those signs, I was like, Jahmal was here.
Yep, thank you. I like that. Jamal's here. That's what we should put on because nobody knows we did those. We didn't even put our logos on it. We just put the block clubs there. But that's
you should put them on the back or something.
I agree. But people, the Latin Kings have been spray painting them now, or not the Latin. That's what they said. But I wouldn't. I like the colors. But anyway, we need to put plexiglass on them. So
then you did the Christmas stuff with the lights on King Drive, which was huge. You during pandemic, you were feeding the elderly, you were feeding the homeless. Now you're doing the basketball campaign. You had the tie campaign to bridge the corporate sector with the neighborhoods. Like you follow a lot of ideas. What advice would you get to people who are like at home and they're questioning whether or not they should take the risk of trying to do the thing that they've been wanting to do, to write the novel, to start the organization, to give the speech? Like, lots of people just don't do the thing.
Yeah, just do it. I think that just learn
like from Nike, just do it.
Yeah, just learn from the firing line of experience. I think that you just need to start. Get out your mind, read a book about somebody that did it, and you'll save 5 years. Find a mentor, but just get to doing it. I think that and again, but I'll be honest. If you're looking to, I would say, if you're passionate about it and it wakes you up at 4 a.m., that's what you should do. If it wakes you up at 4 a.m., if you wake up at 4:30, that ain't it. If it wakes you up at 4 a.m. early, that's the one you should do. And I think that if you actually do that, the universe is you're gonna organically start meeting people that's gonna help you.
We can woo. Now we're talking about the universe.
Yeah, because when you walk in your purpose, man, stuff starts happening. You're like, dang, I just found $10 right now. Dang, I just got booked for a speech. Or dang, like when you're on your path, you'll know it. You'll know it. And I'm like, man, things will start happening. And when you're off your path, you'll know it too. But I think that you should do what you love to do, what you're passionate about, what moves you, what wakes you up. And that's it, man.
And if you don't know that, start experimenting.
True.
I feel like that's what we're all here to do.
Yeah, bro. Why not?
You have time. All we get is time.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be a hooper.
And you nice.
I was.
You were dominating the Charter School 3-on-3 tournament.
I was hooping, bro. But yeah, but
Inks was sad when you left.
Man, I saw Andrew the other day, man. I was like, what up, bro? I actually gave a speech at the Oak Park Library, bro. It was like, it reminded me of Chatham days. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's good advice though. Like just like find your purpose and try.
Yeah, bro.
I think people have a thing about time.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
you got to dive in, man. Just jump.
I feel like when you talk to successful people, they all have a story about how they like Quentin Tarantino, people like that who write scripts are like, I had a script for Kill Bill for 12, 15 years.
Wow.
And they,
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, like you've been doing My Block, My Hood, My City for 10 years. And you still got ideas that you haven't done yet that you're trying to get done,
Yeah, man. And it's just reading about people like their failures. Like when you see a basketball player in the NBA miss a left-hand layup in a layup line, you're like, dang, but he's in the league. But it's like, all these people, there's no great people. It's just ordinary people trying to accomplish great tasks. You know what I mean? So I just think about it from that wave.
I think people should try.
Yeah.
People should definitely try.
Yeah.
That's a big idea. Like that theme has come up with several of my guests.
Oh yeah.
It's just don't be afraid to try. Don't put so much pressure on it. Just
bro.
Start whatever the smallest step you could take. Start there.
Russell Simmons told me that. We was eating pizza one day at a rooftop, and he told me that he wasn't going to give me $1 million. I said, why? He's like, because you're gonna be successful. I was like, but I need his money. He's like, nah, man, you don't need any money. I was like, why? He's like, because you're really helping people from the heart. So it's going to come to you. Oh, I was so mad. I was like, man, I brought this business plan. I had all this stuff. He was like, nah, man, you didn't give me no money. But he was right. He was right. It took me.
Russ, if you out there, you were right.
Exactly. He's probably sitting somewhere Indian style, sitting down, eating some.
Doing a Buddhist mantra or something like that. I knew it.
Exactly. That's where somewhere. It's probably a koala bear on the shoulder. But that dude is Russ.
Let's talk about this real quickly.
All right.
So, every episode I bring a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Well, it's a metaphor because the show is about big ideas and we discuss big ideas that we learn through the life of trying to do big ideas.
Yeah.
And wine is a big idea. It's always like 1,000 small decisions go into every bottle, which is why I like it.
That's dope.
And we found this bottle for you. It's called Love Block.
Okay.
It's from a winery in New Zealand.
Dope.
And I was like, if it could just said Love the Block.
Oh, that'd be dope.
But Love Block was close.
That's close.
But you're not having any because you're drinking the
The 0% Heineken. Yeah,
0% Heineken.
Yeah, I'm trying to, man.
You want to share with people why you're like
yeah,
not drinking right now? 'Cause I think this is also interesting.
Yeah, I just want to be disciplined, and I think that we have Black History Month, January and February. Those are the times that I'm booked to speak the most, and that's the only time the world really cares about what I have to say, because they don't care about me in March. And so I want to make sure by I'm 100 days in come January. So when I get on those stages, like I'm at my best. This is me at my best. This is me working out, running 3 days a week, reading. This is me not drinking. This is me disciplined. I want to arouse enthusiasm. I want people to see me my best. And so this is me getting prepared for the season, which is January and February.
And I think so. What I loved about this when we were talking about it beforehand.
Yeah.
This is not just my block, my hood, my city.
Yeah.
That's why you get invited, because you're the CEO of that.
Yeah.
But these are speeches that you get to give on your book.
Yeah. Yep.
Your values. It may extend beyond the organization. And you treat that with so much respect.
Yeah.
That you stop drinking, you start working out. I think that's a big idea for people.
Yeah.
Are you really doing the things to be the person you want to be?
Yeah, bro.
That's huge.
Yeah, man. And you know what, man? I also, to be honest with you, Jelani, like that's and also I feel like I don't even know when I'm gonna drink again. Like because man, I like responding to my emails at 2 a.m. I am trying to become right now. I'm in a stage of becoming. Yeah. And I found that when I have drank, I'm quick to anger, or I'm really quick to like and I'm really like a person that is I don't want to say too much. This is what I feel like. I feel like I love to drink. I love to drink with my friends and watch Bears games, right? And so right now I want to be I got a son, man. I got 2 daughters, and I want to make sure that I am I'm present enough for them to take, like today with my son, we're going down the street in Beverly, and I went to Joann's Fabric and got a book for him, and we were collecting leaves, and we started a leaf book and different type of leaves where we got 3 pages of leaves and stuff like that. And I want to just be as present as possible. And that's kind of what I'm on right now in my life.
That's real, man.
Yep. I'm on that. But yeah.
You're just full, man. I love talking to you. You're full of big ideas. So we're going to wrap up.
Cheers.
And we like to wrap up with these 4 questions.
Okay. What's up?
It comes from a Japanese concept called ikigai.
I heard about this yesterday.
I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that well.
That's all good.
But it's about finding one's life purpose, which I think is the work of all human beings.
Okay.
To find out why you're here is to find what you want to spend your time doing.
Okay.
That's the resource that is the most valuable. Money comes and goes, friends come and go, stuff comes and go, but time, once it's gone, is gone. And you don't know how much you get, right?
Love it.
So this show is all about encouraging people to get more intentional about how they spend their time.
Dope.
And you are someone who spent their time, with a lot of things to show for your time.
Yeah.
So these questions are just a little test around, have you found your purpose? Have you found a way you want to spend your time?
Yeah.
So if you can answer in the affirmative, if you can just answer yes or no, right? But if you can answer affirmative, all 4 of these, you can feel confident that you are on your life plan, your purpose.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. First question. Do you love what you do?
Yes.
Are you good at what you do?
Yes.
Can you make money in what you do?
Yes.
Does the world need what you do?
Yes.
You found your life purpose.
Wow. Wow. Can you say it one more time just a second? Do
you love what you do?
Yes.
Are you good at what you do?
Yes.
Can you make money doing what you do?
Yes.
Does the world need what you do?
Yes, that's dope. It's called Ikigai.
Ikigai.
Oh,
IKIAGI, I think.
Man, I love it. Yeah, then I'm definitely walking in my purpose in some Air Force Ones. I say so. I love it, bro.
White or black? White or black Air Force Ones?
I got the same ones I'm wearing now, but I got a new pair too. I bought them for my whole family. But you know what definitely white, by the way. I saw online. I saw my sister posted online the other day that if you date a dude with black Air Force Ones, they gonna throw you into a refrigerator. That's
the question. What kind of time is Jahmal Cole really on?
Yeah, bro,
Jahmal shows up to me with black Air Force Ones,
bro. Come on, bro. Yeah, man. But I just want to be comfortable. Now I show up places where I speak better when I'm comfortable, so I don't want to be like uncomfortable. Yeah.
Oh, I wish we could talk about it. We don't have time, but we're going to talk about like the cardigan versus the hoodie campaign.
Ooh, wait till you see my cardigan game is going to be special, bro.
But the metaphor of it is like how people treat you when you show up in the hoodie versus how you show up when you're in the cardigan.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. They gonna put respect in my name at some point, man. So
no, they already are.
Gracias, bro.
They already are. It never feels that way for people like you who are doing great work, and like when you die, you'll probably get your flowers then.
Yeah.
But like you're leading your life based upon your values. You're trusting yourself
Yeah.
to do the things that are genuine to you.
Yeah.
You follow your ideas.
For sure.
And I think that's why you're winning.
Gracias, bro. I appreciate
And
you.
I know you took some L's along the way.
Yeah.
Like the stuff you shared, foreclosure, divorce. Like I think every successful person has those stories.
Man, I'm still writing. I'm still writing my story. Still turning
books. God damn.
Man, bro, I'm gonna write at least 20 more, but I'm gonna keep on writing.
So to this point,
Yeah.
we don't got a lot of followers yet. This is all growing, but we still reach thousands of people every month.
Kudos.
So if you want to talk into your camera,
Yeah.
this is the November episode.
Okay.
So for November, you have Thanksgiving, and then after that, you have Giving Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so we want to help My Block, My Hill, My City. So folks see these clips over the month because we're going to be running them all month long.
Yeah.
If you want to, donate or give to a person who is doing community work in Chicago, consistently, from the heart, authentically, please consider My Block, My Hill, My City. How do they do that?
Yeah. So, well, again, thank you for having me, man. Like, man, you are dope, bro. Like, I know you're a lifelong friend, and I really appreciate you. But I would go to my website, formyblock.org, and sign up to volunteer for our Holiday Lights campaign. Every year we decorate, homes on King Drive. You go down Martin Luther King Drive now, you see police car lights, helicopter lights. We interrupt that trauma by hanging holiday lights and inspire hope. So we want to decorate 500 homes for free. We need volunteer help to do it. We're doing it on December 7th. You can come out, but go to our website, formyblock.org, and figure out how you can sign up. You can also donate lights. You can donate wreaths, ribbons, bows, but we want to make it as magnificent as downtown on the south side. And I have a book coming out that day too. It's called Lightwork. And so you can pick up a book on December 7th. But go to my website, formyblock.org, buy a hoodie. 100% of the proceeds go back towards the program. But we're trying to make King Drive shine December 7th. So
I'm sorry. I just say this. I just want to help people understand this is the things that make this distinct. Because most people, when you say nonprofit, you could donate here and go to the PayPal, the Cash App, or whatever, and give the money. And you literally like, I want you to give your time. Come out here and hang these lights with me. Man. Come out here. If you can't come hang the lights, send us the lights.
Word.
Because it's actually about the work. It's not just about like.
Yeah, bro.
Or it's about making King Drive like downtown. It's genuine. It's real.
It's gonna be amazing, bro. Thank you, Jelani.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you for coming down. Anytime. We went over by 15 minutes, but we did good.
Bro, anytime, bro. I told you I'm gonna be out all night anyway tonight.
So thank y'all for coming for the 5th episode of the Speak Your Truth podcast. We are SYT. You can follow us on Instagram. You can visit the website, wearesyt.com. If you'd like to be a guest, please fill out the forms there and let us know. We're looking for people who have taken the risk to try to live their big ideas in the real world, right? So you thought it and you're doing it. And we want to share those stories and uplift those stories so that we all can be inspired to do our big ideas. Thank you, Jahmal.
Thank you, Jelani.
I can't believe you came. I feel blessed.
I hope I did good, bro.
You did great. You did great.
Cool.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Y'all be safe.